everyone. So, last session, you guys had returned to Thessalus, successful in your endeavors. Uh, those endeavors, of course, being that you made your way down to the deep Black Sea to gain the eye, the jewel from a long lost temple of Poseidon. Um, Apparently, the entity there that was guarding the eye, the jewel, was angered because she claimed that Poseidon was angry because you did not truly kill the dragon. And you were attacked. But through the great warrior skill of the party, you were able to both defeat this enemy and obtain the jewel for yourselves. It is unfortunate that the blade that was used by the Gorgon creature did kill the Celestial who meant to defend you and guide you there in one single blow. You guys claimed the sword. The sword. Uh, you jumped on the ship and you flew away, successful, back to Thessalus. Um, there, you turn in the jewel for a significant sum of coin. Um, a great and wondrous sword was claimed by your paladin king, one that marks him for the great paladin that he is, the paladin of Zeus, the paladin king, one might say. Um, and yeah, you guys got some stuff done around town, got some food stores all saved up, and as you're preparing to leave, you were confronted by a lot of mind flayers who were attacking Thessalus. Um, you saw the prophet broiling with anger, a cyborg-like entity now, prepared to kill you all. Um, your crewmates made the executive decision to fly away after uh, it displayed its power. It grasped the throat of the dragon that's been traveling with you with ease and threw it away. And as you meant to leave with um, uh, oh God, what's your name? Arendelle, with Arendelle's former captain who had come to ask the party to help her deal with a matter out in Kryn space to track the prophet himself. Her ship was destroyed as well. As she tried to come and get you guys. The prophet almost squeezed and destroyed your own ship, but you managed to get away, and the destruction of the Star Moth ship seemed to have covered your exit. So, as you're flying low, there are like three or four massive illithid ships flying around. You leave the sounds of screams behind as the mind flares begin to lay siege to the major city of Thessalus. And you guys find yourselves with Arian at the helm, flying up into the atmosphere and into wild space away from Thessalus. The crew in something of a panic. Your bosun's working quickly to try and recover from any damage done to the ship by the attack made by the prophet. And that is where we pick up today in the moment of struggle, in the moment of probable surprise. So, what do you do?
Shit.
Captain, my captain.
Okay, is anyone injured for one?
uh, no one sounds
No,
off to that.
no.
At least-
Okay. What do we think of our odds? If we go back down there, how do folks feel?
I mean, I'd always be up for a fight, but that's just me. I think there's a lot of people down there that we can help, but whether we want to risk that.
Well, I feel a lot more confident about fighting them with allies nearby. They're on well, our turf. We don't need to fight them in their in the middle of their fleet, we can fight them on home ground. Misan, your
Well,
thoughts?
I think right now we have help and we have the gift from Tidewalker's patron that can bring us all back to health. So if there was a time that we were going to do it, it's now. The problem is we are slow and they are 3 of them. Did I count?
Well,
If we could keep the dragon moving, and she'll look at Saeed. Can your dragon fly evasively and
you
pull one off?
you hear you hear like the clang of something heavy sort of gripping and landing on the ship, and you do see the dragon sort of has rejoined with the ship. And Saeed says, looks at the dragon and says, I can try and distract them, but, and sort of referring to his own dragon, says, he's too small to destroy one.
can we like see how things look like on the surface, or is it just we're like too far away to see
We
anything?
can see what things
No,
look like
not
in
at all. You
this.
can see. Yeah, you can definitely see. Go ahead and make a. Well, while you pull out your orrery, because it'll give you a more
Yeah.
exact. Yeah, make me an investigation check to investigate the firefight.
13.
13. Um, you see that the Azure Vanguard fighter fleet is engaged with the Illithid ships, and the Illithid ships are massively overwhelmed. Uh, they are firing back, but they're not really taking evasive maneuvers, and it's interesting. Uh, and this is where your check comes a little bit short. Is you're like 3 ships against the entire capital of Great Space? Like what? Like that doesn't make Prophet's powerful. I don't think it's taking down an entire fleet. This is weird. And then there's a on your Ori, and you're going to see like a ways off. You can't really see it perfectly, but there's another portal, and except it's like 3 times as large as the Nautiloid ones, and you see another ship enter. It is huge. It is clearly like a bastion-sized ship, which is like a level up from what you guys do. Because there's the personal vehicles, there is what you guys fly around in, and there's bastion ships, which are basically like space stations. And it looks like a Nautiloid, but it is like it's a Nautiloid bastion like ship with these it's just very strangely shaped. And you see it sort of this like purple light beginning to glow sort of like in the epicenter of the station. It's like taking time, but it's like growing and growing and growing. And at that point, you see one of the Nautiloids destroyed. What do you do?
Oh, if anything, I think that's going to have to be our target, isn't it? Get on there and blow it all up.
Whatever that ship's going to do, I don't like the. Well, I have concerns. So, Aryan,
Uh-huh.
aim for the biggest ship.
Great. The thing just it starts moving in that direction. Slow going because your ship is slow. And it's this kind of like Ariel has this apologetic look on his face. He's giving her all she's got, Captain. At comes over. He tries to bolster the speed of the ship. And in little spurts, he is able to. He succeeds the ship kind of every now and then, just kind of is like moving closer with little speed boosts, but it's taking a minute to get over there, for sure.
Everyone to
Saeed's
your
like pacing around impatiently.
everyone to your battle stations, and well, I need to get onto the deck.
Ooh, everybody's running around. Everybody's going to man all of their battle stations. They're all getting equipped. You're preparing. You see another Nautiloid destroyed by the fleet. You're moving closer now. At this point, you're definitely close enough to start to understand its full scale. It has let me give you. Okay. Okay. Now that you're closer, you see the ship in its full breath. It is quite a sight. It's born of madness, genius, blasphemy. The design is too alien to fully put into words. It is an asymmetrical construct that is uh, like a mile across. It's a big ass ship at its widest part. Um, it from afar it looked like a nightmarish tangle of blackened tentacles um, that coiled around that central glowing ball. Um, and as you get closer, the description isn't too terribly different. Um, it seems to almost drift through wild space like some predatory cephalopod, and its long appendages are constantly shifting, flashing, lashing out to grab on the asteroids and crush them within the actual uh, coils so that they don't actually hit the center of the ship. It is a massive ship with just like tentacles going in every direction that destroys anything that gets too close. And in the center of it is this amplified sphere of purplish energy, which is now grown to about the size of your ship at this point. You do see now that you're close, however, that there seems to be within the tentacle mass a patchwork of adamantine plates fused into the living illithid flesh of the ship itself, pulsating with bioluminescence in a sickly green, deep purple. Veins of arcane crystals run through the capillaries and across its skin, tracking with psionic discharge. There are definitely multiple like artificiary adamantine devices integrated into it. And at the epicenter, as you kind of get closer and you see sort of where all the tentacles kind of amass around, where would be the mouth, the maw of the actual ship, seems to be an orificed ring with adamantine teeth that seem to just begin or like opening wider and wider as this big beam of psionic energy grows and grows and grows. Do you, as the last Illithid ship is destroyed down below, you see all of the Azure Vanguard fighters now moving and flying up towards the atmosphere directly at the ship, alongside where you guys are, but you're closer now. You are, I will say, certainly close enough that your long-range weapons, your lightning gun and your mangonel barrel thrower, have like just come into range.
Oh, we haven't used the lightning yet, have we?
Okay. What is the range of the just so because there may be a chance that I can actually attack things myself. So
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go grab it.
Mangonel, I've got it over here. Mangonel's 200 to 800.
okay.
So you're at 800.
Okay, that's totally fine.
And lost it now. Where is it? The lightning cannon, 300 to 1,200 feet. and the keg launcher 300 feet. So we're good for the lightning cannons and the mangonel.
And the arcane foci should be able to help target.
Where?
She'll actually pull her staff out. I can cast some fire. I think it doubles the range, so it won't be 800 feet, but it could be like 220.
All right, well, aim for the big purple light. I don't like it.
All right.
Where is the Tidewalker's patron's gift?
It's up by the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it is in the top part inside.
Yeah.
Where we've got the mirror, we had a little stand made for it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Does it behoove us to have that someplace where the captain or someone can use it instead of having to go 2 floors away to Nigel?
I can take it with me because I'm heading out onto the deck anyway, so I can pick it up.
I would rather you have it and not use it than need it and have to take a jog.
Yeah, no,
Fair enough.
good
I'll pick up the pearl as I head out onto the deck.
All right, you head out onto the deck. You see this. I can't find a thing that properly describes the scale of it. I'll have to build it later on. But this, you come before this mile-long writhing mass of tentacles. It's like someone chopped off the fronts of all of the Mind Flayer ships. Those tentacles that kind of move forward and just like slapped hundreds of them on the side of like a mile-long adamantine ship. As you're coming upon it.
Point my finger at the at the ship.
All right.
Aim for the purple light. Open fire.
Mangonel shots go flying through the air. Mangonel shots go flying through the air. Boomstick's like, yes, and he fires the lightning cannon. Bolts of lightning go flying through the sky and sort of crash into the side of the ship. The crew's like, yeah, we did it. We're hitting them.
Can I take some spell precautions? I realized
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Death Ward on myself.
Fair enough.
I think I already did because I got it. Yeah, I must have already done it today because the spell slot's marked. Never mind.
No worries.
Yeah.
All right, you're blasting away at this thing. You are going to see from within the tentacle mass, you're going to start to see these like small personal vehicle Mind Flayer ships kind of start coming out of the ship itself. These like little fighters that are they look more like pods. They're like long, pointed, like they're basically like little fighters. They're kind of like X-Wings if they were made of carapace and flesh. And they kind of like a dozen of them come flying up towards you guys. And start firing on your ship. They fly through. Your ship is just like they fly and hit you and kind of continue onward, and they're going around for another shot. You hear Coppergut go, there it is! Suddenly, your ship just for a moment, it's visible, and this huge shield envelops your ship. And the shield generator is now officially operational. And just in time, too, because your ship is at half health. But now with the shield generator, it's going to effectively double your hit points and temp points. The ship comes around. You're firing on the orb. So I'm gonna do some rolls. I'm gonna see Boomstick gets a direct shot on Orb. He dodged. Nat 20 is missed. Mangonel misses. So you're firing. You're hitting the side of the ship. You're not quite getting into that sort of toothy maw portion yet. And it's at this point that you see like the Azure Vanguard like coming in like a swarm, a flight of blue fighter ships sort of flying up to confront the same ship that you are. It's in this moment that these long rings emerge from the mouth of this ship that sort of land as like a big ring, a smaller ring, and a smaller ring at the end, all sort of floating psionically. All that purple energy begins to turns into like a small singularity and fires a single beam at the planet. And there is a humongous like mushroom cloud of like purple energy just explodes the city that you were once standing on. And with that, it sort of then begins to like fold in on itself, like the continental ground sort of begins to collide into itself, and it begins to the planet begins to almost fall in on itself like a singularity. Pieces of rock from way off to the side of the hemisphere, sort of like entire continents worth of Earth, go firing off to the left and the right as the ship is almost seeming to like donut a little bit, and pieces are flying off left and right from the outer side of the planet. And then it just collapses and just explodes into great massive land masses. There is a huge wave of energy, and your ship is sort of like thrown just by the gravitational nonsense that's happening here. Many of the Azure Vanguard ships crash into one another and explode. Many of them get away, but a couple of them just crash into each other. And you guys are fucking thrown. The good news is that the gravity plane is going to keep you guys from getting sent into wild space. I'd like everyone to make a strength save. I'm going to roll for Aryan's ability to regain control of the ship. I'll give him an advantage because that is giving him a little extra juice.
Yeah, not my best save.
Hold on. If you are, because it's new, so sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, so if you're within 10 feet of me, the aura of protection will give you a +5 onto that.
I don't think that'll help me.
No. What else was there? There was something new as well. I don't know. I think that was it. Doesn't help.
How close to Aryan, or how close to Arendelle am I?
Well, I guess that's the question. I know, Ethrith, you're outside. It would make sense that you're outside as well, Basan, because you're an artillerist. Where are you positioned right now, Commander?
I would have said I would have been on the front deck outside.
Okay, then it
with
would make
on
sense.
The ballistas and what have you.
Yeah, then it would make sense. I think you're all standing close to one another. So take the +5.
28.
Got it. So Basan, you were able to grab a piece of the hull and like hold yourself to the side of a hull, like in a squat. You just like grab the railing and just like are like being thrown around, but you were able to hold on. Ethereth, you just bing, 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 bing. You just like bounce off the inside of the shield generator and land prone. Luckily, the shield generator will keep you guys from getting flung into space, so it's a doubly good. Many of your crew members get like scattered across the ship. What did you roll?
28.
Oh yeah, you're good. You don't even move. You're just like, as the whole ship's being flung around. You're
It
just,
wasn't at 20, but yeah,
you're fine.
For a safe.
You're like standing in the little sort of almost balcony space here, and you just like put your hand up to the roof and kind of like, prop yourself with your feet in the roof, and you just kind of let everything happen, but you don't move at all. You're perfectly stable throughout it. Really only Saeed the dragon and like a handful of the actual crew managed to stay on their feet, and everybody else is just thrown in this moment from the gravitational pull. Arian manages to regain the ship and kind of stop it from spinning, and then begin to reposition it around to look back at the space station as the rings kind of back inside of the ship. Yeah. A massive portal is going to open in front of it, and it's going to sort of groan and move slowly into the portal and vanish. And with that, Arian just starts flying away as debris and asteroids from the newly destroyed planet are like beginning to move in your direction. You find yourselves about to be in the middle of a meteor storm. So Arian's just moving the ship away from the debris, but you look behind you to see Thessalys is gone, is destroyed, is but meteor rock and nothing more at this point. The planet is gone.
Great disturbance in the force. Oh, wow.
Yeah. You're like, Brenda's like, oh, many voices crying out.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It is a great disturbance in the force. It's a good point. Etherith, you maybe not like in a magical sense, but you know that the cult of Hecate, its most powerful cell is gone. At least the most powerful that you've encountered is gone. They're down on the ship. You have its two most valuable members, save the actual leader of the cult, but they're gone. And I think Basan, there would be a massive psychic wave as millions of minds are silenced in a moment. Animals, beasts, humanoids, they're all silenced in moments, in a second. And I think you, Arendil, through your, you don't have, you have connection to Zeus, but it's a divine power. But you would just perhaps know that the King of Gods is probably quite angered. This is not anything you feel, but something that you sense, and you can feel however you will, because you were a captain in the Elven Armada, and it would have been your job to protect these people. They are gone now.
Yeah.
And there is a probable moment of shock for all of you as you just witnessed the destruction of a planet and all of its souls.
Would we have seen or can we make a check to see if the prophet ship has moved and gone, or was it just the larger lithid ship, Bastion?
Easily enough. You guys probably saw the action on Etherith Ori, or Etherith can inform you himself. The three Illithid ships that like invaded the city were destroyed. The Azure Vanguard destroyed them. They were like suicide bomber, kind of like the suicide distraction kind of situation, maybe. But you guys do know that Mind Flayers possess the power of plane shift. They all possess that.
Mm.
So there's a good chance that he got there's a 99% chance that the Prophet and all of his minions got away, because they probably just left. Plane shifted away.
Captain, what are your orders? We need to follow and deal with this ship. Grab as many as we can on the way through to help us. But that is our focus now.
Arian says, Captain, if we stay too long, these chunks of Earth from the planet are gonna come up on us, and we could be crushed by them, and worse, we couldn't jump to wild space.
Jump to wild space. We need...
Or cruise speed. Right.
I think we should consider going back towards Brawl. There is a place where you can contact the Elven Armada. They had contacted you. It's called Terrell. I don't know how to contact the Armada. Maybe you do, but there's
I have a sending stone that I can contact.
And former Captain Trissis, who's a bit in shock herself, is like, I also have a sending stone. And she's like looking out the window.
Everyone inside will head for realm space.
Arian will not take another note of that, and before any of these like continent size Earth motes can find you, all the stars sort of shoot past your ship, and you make your way away from the debris field that is quickly forming. And you're moving way faster than any of that debris can move now. So you are, for all intents and purposes, safe at cruise speed. Arian says it's gonna take a couple days to get to the edge of wild space, and then we can make our way through the astral sea. It'll take some time. It'll take some time.
we're in good hands. Thank you.
You just kind of and you see the whole ship is shell shocked. Like everyone's stunned by the occurrence. Even your coolest, most collected people, even your witches are stunned by this occurrence.
I'll return shortly, and I'll use the row of stars to go to my astral. See.
Uh, and so you do. Let's see if I can. Ethereth. Go away. I assume you're returning to the same spot you always do.
Yep. That's the only spot I can go to. It's always the same spot.
All right. You appear once more back in this strange astral passage somewhere deep within the astral sea, probably trillions of miles away from your ship.
I sit down and kind of look around, or just expecting, waiting.
Okay. You wait. How long are you willing to wait for?
For as long as it takes.
You wait. And you wait. And you wait. And you wait. Hours pass. There's no telling night and day cycles out here. Not really. For what seems like an eternity, time passes. Hours lead into what you think must be a day has passed, maybe more. You've been here for so long now.
I say it's like the time kind of lingers, like this is the longest that he's had to wait. There are moments of just like unrestrained rage, breathing ice into the air, throwing rocks into space, casting spells just out of sheer frustration and anger.
destroying petty asteroids as they go by, and
Yeah.
rage, rage. You wait for a very long time, and you just experience wave after wave of rage, followed by a numb calm, and then rage followed by another numb calm. And for a very long time you wait, but eventually, as you find yourself asleep, you, for the second time, you do awaken, perhaps from a nightmare, of just that image of the planet tunneling, a city destroyed, in a plume of psychic flame, being sucked into its own center until the pressure is too much and the sides of the very planet explode in a ring of debris, and then the entire planet crumbles as its center explodes in a singularity. And you see this, and imagine every soul that you ever saw, every face you ever saw on that planet, where the death toll is catastrophic. Just that city alone was thousands of people, let alone the rest of the world. You awaken from the terror to indeed find Hecate, goddess of crossroads and witchcraft, dark magics, mystery, all these things. Sort of standing, waiting expectantly, her and her two others, the mother, the maiden, the crone, all stand side by side awaiting you. Torch, dagger, rope, key, all these things in hand.
Now that you're here, I'm not sure what to say. How does she look? Like, does she look sad,
Insight
frustrated?
check. Insight check. Yeah.
Natural 20 for 27.
Yeah, you see sort of your god for how she feels in this moment. The mother, the maiden, the crone are rarely united in purpose, are rarely united in wisdom. But it is in this moment that they are united in shock, in rage, in grief. There's almost a callousness to how they stare. And for once, they don't have words for you right off the bat. They don't have something clever to say. And you expect she is the same. She doesn't know what to say. She's never perhaps experienced the destruction of an entire planet by illicit hands, never the destruction of her cult by this way. She has experienced something new. And gods don't experience new things often.
You must have known that this was a possibility.
The mother says, "It is all possibility. We did foresee it." And the crone said, "And we didn't expect it to be so. So strange. So new." Youth says it was terrifying. It was horrible. It was glorious. It was so many things.
So why not warn us?
The middle crone says, or the mother says, "The god of gods, Zeus, has forbade that we interfere directly in the affairs of mortals. We may assist them, help them, guide them, but never interfere directly, for the fate of mortals is their own. The maiden will say, prophecies were given. Apollo, I am told, sent forth many prophecies to warn the mortals of a great doom. The crone says, but seldom do mortals listen to doomsayers and say our world will be destroyed. And the mother will say, besides, I am the silence at the crossroads, the stillness where all choices begin, for they're all made. I am not here to lead, I am here to present crossroads. If mortals insist on ignorance, insist on infighting, that is their choice to make. I will simply put it before them. The choice.
I understand. I'd got it into my head that I wanted to bridge the gap between us.
Crone says, have you, boy, ever wondered why people of Thessalys outlawed us? Outlawed our worship? You thought it was unjust just because it was your god?
I thought it was ignorance.
The mother will say, you are correct, but you are also wrong. The worship of Hecate was outlawed for a very just reason, that people are fools. Generally, do not understand what is presented before them. Many believe by worshipping choice itself that you'll gain guidance down those roads. The maiden says, but we're not here to guide. It is ignorance to follow us, and to think that we're going to lead you either from destruction or towards glory. Who's to say where you will go? The crone says, it is your choice to walk down the road. We may present choices, present magic, make the moon shine in a light that presents a new path. The mother says, but we do not choose for you. We simply walk beside destiny, beside fate. And to put all your eggs in the basket of an observer is a fool's game. The crone says, you, boy, must make your own choices and deal with them and not blame them on Hecate. For we are the choice itself, not the decision made. You are the decision made, but that is the path of all mortals, is to make choices and to understand those choices for yourself. The maiden says, so then what are you going to do, Captain Ethereth? You have choices to make. We have presented crossroads to you. We will present a crossroads towards you. You should return to your crew, where you'll find no guidance as what to do next here.
I wasn't seeking guidance, just an explanation, and I got what I wanted, so
The
I'm
mother says,
satisfied on that front.
the mother smiles and says, good. You truly are my best disciple. Remember, truth can be found in mystery. Not all hidden things are evil. The unknown is where wisdom dwells. Do not fear what is unknown or what has never been done.
I have a crew to lead, but understand, Mother, that my end goal now extends beyond simply slaying the prophet. I dislike being at your, well, begging at your feet for hints and comforts.
Crone says, yes, you really are our best disciple. You are learning. There is no wisdom to be found out over here on this rock. It is to be found out there, out there in the world, in the astral sea. It is for you to find secrets, and for us to be in glory when you do, and to find satisfaction when you carve your own path. The maiden says, we'll always walk with you, Ethrith, you know this. Every path you make, every door you walk through, every threshold you take, every spell you cast, we will stand beside you as you do it. Her mother says that you're growing up. You're a captain. We will present many crossroads towards you and your party, to your crew. The throne says, and it's for you to decide what to walk down, to end their threads in a poor choice, a poor road walked, or to bring them life with a wise choice walked. We will be with you every step of the way. See what it is you decide. After a moment, Fern will say, well, if your crossroads are given, and the path you walk is to the destruction of the so-called prophet, now there will be peace.
My target is you, Mother. Well, your domain of sorts. I am your child, and scrambling blindly through fate's paths is wear it on me. I'd rather stand where you are, observing, witnessing.
Mother, they all kind of think. The mother says, it would not be the first time the child of a god is joined with the Olympians, but only for those of great glory. I am Cthulhu. I, a god of the dead. I am a god of magic. I am a god of silence and witness. So if you, Ethelred, bring me glory through vengeance for my followers who have followed faithfully and fell for no purpose, slay the prophets. Slay this planet destroyer. Witness their end beyond all reason of a doubt. Perhaps there's a place for you in the underworld. But you must be prepared for this path. Let go of the mortal realm to become something else entirely. It is the final, glorious evolution.
I'll see to it that this prophecy comes to an end, that the prophet meets his end.
I will have words with the great scale balancer, with the great Thunderlord and King of Kings, for he has great respect, and I know he will allow me this. Aid his paladin, aid his king of knights, add his great queen on the board, and help him destroy this. We will see what fate lies for you. What an interesting crossroad to walk down. We will see you soon, but decide carefully, for this is a fate that cannot be undone. Now go lead your crew. You've sat on this rock for too long.
I nod, tap my staff on the floor, and rope stars back to the ship where I've been gone for way too long.
No worries. Well, the good news is that you got time to fucking spare, because even at cruise speed, it takes a while to reach the edge of wild space, and then certainly some time to move through the flow. So 2 days is a drop in the bucket for what you guys have to do for the travel that you're planning.
Above the
I
table?
yeah.
Sorry, it was just a question. Didn't it take us like 6 weeks of time to get out this way? Am I remembering correctly? Thank you.
It was
I just wanted to.
it was an intense voyage to get here, yes. What are you two doing on the ship? Ethrith vanishes. The ship's morale is low, to say the least. The captain's gone. What is it that you two do with your 2 days in the aftermath, the shock of this destruction?
I think Arendelle would definitely be trying to raise the morale and instill some, what's the word?
Confidence.
Yeah, most probably instill some confidence back in and trying to tell the crew that we're gonna find allies. We're gonna make sure that we get more people behind us that we've built up those allegiances with, and we're gonna go and try and we will do this. We'll have the gods on our side. We have some gods potentially on our side to try and maybe use them to help us within this fight, and just try and instill that confidence in them that we've got means and ways to be able to do and fulfill out this quest that we're on.
Understood. Why don't you make me, since you got 2 days and you want to do this over the course of 2 days, no doubt, I want you to make me I'm pretty sure it's going to be a persuasion check. Go ahead and make it a persuasion check.
$28.
Okay, do it again. That's pretty good. Give me another
19
one.
on the 19 on the die, so
Yeah, that's pretty good.
23 on that one.
Understood. Got it. You roll very well. You're able to sort of like mitigate any more morale loss. You kind of like the morale was going down. If you didn't do anything, it was going to keep going down because confident like people would have like kind of scared each other basically. But what you do is you halt the descent. You kind of maybe reprimand a couple of people, not reprimand, but you kind of get people to not like give in to despair and to like not talk so negatively and scare the rest of your crew members. And you even are able to sort of lift it. So basically, you you halt the descent at like a flat 0 before it goes into the negative, and people start to like
Okay.
really freak out, and you raise it to 1, and you're kind of holding it at a steady 1 point of morale, with both days. So you're kind of fighting against the tide here. Where like all anyone wants to do around here is give up, and you're just like you're the sole force of resilience, and you are the stone in the rushing river, and it is a difficult job, but you're keeping things together around here. Um, there's definitely specific people who are kind of Copper Gut, like after everything happened, you went to cruise speed. Is like, there, I did it. Great. Well, what's going on? And the fucking planet's destroyed. He goes, what? No. And he gets caught up and he freaks out. Your sailors are held at a 1. Saeed seems kind of apathetic to the whole thing. He's almost more. I don't want to say like. He's just kind of like surprised at the power that was brought to bear more than is he upset about the lives lost. He doesn't go around talking to people. He doesn't like to talk to people who aren't gifts, but he's just kind of reeling from the power brought to bear. His confidence not waning. In fact, he's a little annoyed by people who have lost their confidence. So he kind of keeps to himself. Spice Hand's doing her best to keep morale steady with you and keep everybody well fed. Pox units are surprisingly a little upset. Like they're not wicked emotional creatures, but you can see in their body language they kind of walk around a little schlumped too. And you were told that they will gain more emotional conscience or consciousness the more time they spent around emotional creatures, and it seems that the depression is influencing them. Arian is holding things together. His Triton second is kind of being at his side. Let's see who else we got. Steel Voice is trying to keep things together too, but she's clearly struggling as well by the circles around her eyes. Boomstick is not helping morale in that he's like super wants to know like how they did that. That is like the coolest, craziest explosive he's ever seen. There's probably a point where you're like, shut up. go over there if you want to be excited about it. Tidewalker's beside herself. Pyrolux is beside herself. She grew up down there. Is crying over the loss of a certain autognome cleric. Yep. Calanestra. Vivara's just kind of like gone into almost like this like with some kind of defense mechanism maybe, but like she's almost like more in a state of like prophecy than she is in a state of like conscious in the moment. Like she's just kind of receded into sort of like, she's a divination, she's a diviner, she's a Pythia. So that she isn't insane, but it sure looks like it. She just walks around and babbles about things she's seeing that aren't there a lot of the time. Like she's completely like lost it. You get assurances from Calanestra that she's not. She's just deeply in the ocean of prophecy and is kind of let go of. It's not great, but there's worse. Thalia is very distraught. She is not really holding hearts and minds together right now. She's very upset, and she can often be found in a private space, maybe in the cargo holds, her crying to herself. Former Captain Trissus of the Elven Armada is. You can tell she's shaken, but only you are Arendil, because you are yourself a long-lived elf. And while on the surface to anybody else it seemed like she's kind of moved on, she's fine, you do see the subtle, like, holy fuck, my crew, all those people. but she's holding it together better than most. And the captain is vanished for days. And that's kind of the state of things.
Does Basant get to do anything?
Of course. I just wanted to give you guys context of what the ship's like right now. Of course, please go right ahead.
Because there are three things that she would do in the context of the 2 days.
Absolutely.
Once she confirmed that Arendil was being a face and doing face things, she would take probably an hour and maybe go up by Nigel because it's quiet. And cry and mourn and grieve and feel all of the things that a Gith is not supposed to indulge. She's just like Talia said, that the strength is in feeling it and not becoming a slave to it, but to use it. So you want me to stop?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Keep going. Sorry.
So, and then she's going to take a single piece of paper, and as she kind of uses her telekinesis to form an origami rose, she's going to pray to Aphrodite. And what she's going to say is this. It's Bisan. I know gods. I don't know much about gods, but I know that it's important that people pray to you, and that if not enough people pray to you, it hurts you. So I'm praying to you because I think we need love right now. And I want you to be strong. And then she just stands up, grabs her rose, and goes finds Talia.
Before you do, I want to do a little interesting check for you here. You have spent your life in resistance of emotion. And for the first time, you're opening the floodgates in like a devastatingly traumatic event for anybody. This may not have been your home world, but you knew people there. You know, you found beauty in that place. You have history there. I want you to roll me a charisma saving throw to see if once you open the floodgates, you can close them again when the time comes.
Okay, that is a 19 on the dice. So I think it's a charisma saving throw is just going to be a 19.
Yeah, you're good. And by the sounds of things, it is very much a roll of the dice for you. If this is going to be able to, if you're able to put the cork back on it. You will go up beside Nigel, and you find something which is perhaps pretty scary for you. When you allow yourself to experience the fear and the anger and the sadness and the immense grief, it takes you like a tidal wave. Your entire life worth of emotion, everything bad you've ever felt, like it's not just this one instance, because you have bottled up every bad thing that has ever happened to you, being your fellow Githzerai dying around you, you being imprisoned by the Mind Flayers, the fear of what they would do to you, it all happening all over again, the death of Captain Lunarbow, the destruction of your ship again, the loss of friends, and now this is probably the greatest moment of tragedy you've ever experienced. And it's not just this one moment of tragedy, it is all of your entire history of every sad, horrible, bad thing that has happened to you crashes into you like a wave of stones. And you are a broken mess. for a while. You don't turn away from it. You let it wash over you. And it hurts, and it's horrible, and you resist the urge to compartmentalize it and shove it all back down. And you experience it until your body, till your mind is just overwhelmed. And you're not even able to cry anymore. You're just numb against the wall. You're as emotion. You didn't know you could be this tired from just feeling things. And for the first time, you experience sort of emotional exhaustion. And you find yourself after maybe like an hour or two of just sobbing, just like laying against the wall, staring at the wall in front of you with not a thought on your mind, just tired and numb. And very naturally, that wave of stones of emotions has receded for the time being because your body's too tired to keep feeling it. And there's more work to be done here. But perhaps there is something prideful to be taken in the fact that you faced this and you survived and you make it out the other side. And it sucked. And you don't know exactly what you got out of it. But somehow, maybe, just maybe, you feel a little bit better. Yep. You tiredly walk through the metal hull of the turtle ship, your home, and in the very opposite floor of the ship, down in the cargo hold, where there isn't much cargo except for junk and empty boxes and in a very large contraption that now sits in the middle and thrums with power of the new shield generator. You will see, and the old ship of Ed Yord, which I forgot all about, which you never got repaired. You see sort of sitting in the cockpit of this kind of barely refurbished personal vehicle. You see Thally just kind of laying in the cockpit, puffy-eyed, tears streaming down her face in a similar state of like numb exhaustion. Kind of looks over and sees you, and does something that you never really maybe didn't expect. She doesn't like try and hide it. She doesn't try and shove it away or pack it away because you've shown up. Kind of sees you and kind of does that sort of almost like sad laugh, where it's kind of half a laugh, half a cry to see somebody. Just that kind of like momentary like and openly sort of shows her grief to you. Doesn't try and hide it as you appear.
She will sit next to her and hand her the rose.
She takes it. What's this?
Aphrodite must be hurting. And I don't know how to make her feel better other than to love someone. So I thought I'd come here and love you. And Basan just starts weeping.
She gets up out of the cockpit and goes to you, and she puts her arms around you, and she cries too, and you both in your emotional exhaustion just start crying again, and you two, you just grieve together and comfort one another in that moment. And that goes on some time too, until both of you are very, very, very tired and just out of liquid. She'll at some point in there say, Why do you think we hurt so much? It's her. She's heartbreak. Just as she's fresh love, she's heartbreak. She is in you, Hassan, like she's in me. And this horrible, horrible feeling. Well, she's a god and she feels it so much more worse than the rest of us, so we can't help but feel it too. That's what my mother used to tell me. So,
I don't have it in me to hate the Illithid or the Prophet anymore. They just need to be eradicated.
she definitely nods to that. She goes, yeah. Yeah, they do. They really do. And with that, if there's anything else you want to do during the 2 days, Hassan.
She would check in with Saeed briefly, and then she would probably spend the rest of the day or the rest of the time milling about the crew.
Okay.
She'd probably have a talk with Boomstick, being
A little too excited.
respect. I feel you. But try to explain that they're grieving and that they can't, out of respect for their grieving, perhaps we tone down the scientific enthusiasm just for a little bit.
He's like, oh yeah, of course, yeah. And like you get the sense it's not malicious at all.
Oh, yeah.
He's just
She actually understands completely.
he's just an enthusiast. Just a stupid enthusiast. So yeah, he'll chill out a bit, and he does. He's probably already had, or Rendell's probably already spoken to him, and yeah, he chills the fuck out a little bit. And with that, we will see Etherith's return. You were told, Etherith, that a crossroads is on its way towards you. And you see the sorry state of the crew when you return.
When Arendelle sets eyes on Etherith, he won't do it in public, but he'll pull him aside and you leaving straight away left this crew very demoralized.
That's great.
You are their captain.
I
You are their
don't.
leader. I don't care what you were doing.
Etherith actually pulls away and
crew-
walks away.
I'll just grab him,
All right.
swing him round.
Get off me.
No. You wanted the captaincy. Treat your crew with the respect that you wish to have. These people are the ones that will save you.
I didn't want this. You
took
forced it upon me. You're the
No.
one who voted for me.
No, you said you wanted it.
I never wanted it.
You took it, so you never denied it.
I took temporary command because we just lost our captain, but then the vote, you quite openly named me.
Because I am new on this ship. The crew needs to have someone that they can depend on. If you are not that person, then I suggest you stand aside. But this is your crew. Your duty as captain.
You don't even know what I left for.
I have an inkling. But that's fine. Maybe not just disappearing.
From the moment I've gained captaincy, you've done nothing but question and belittle and criticize me. If you're so displeased with me, just drive the blade into my heart and be done with it.
That's not how things work. All I ask is that you treat the people that are on this ship with some respect. At least have the balls to tell them you're running off to Mother to have a little chat. But stand and be one of them.
Thanks for your opinion. I'll leave with the rest of your opinions in the back of my mind where I don't give a shit. I have to address my crew.
That might be worth a shout. Here if you need a hand.
If I need a hand from you, it'll be to kill something. Beyond that, I'm not interested.
That's fine. And then he would just walk away.
Okay. I might have skipped over it, so I want to take a quick moment to pull back. You're still here after it. This is happening in tandem, but maybe he's just like not good at handling grief. Hassan, you know the people, the Githyanki, they're a people of rage. They're a people of anger, and that is what you were taught as a Githzerai, that the failings of the Githyanki is that they let their rage blind them. They let their any sadness, any grief that they might possess, it leads to their anger, and their anger is where their great psionic power comes from. So, unsurprisingly to you, you see Saeed walking around with a certain level of apathy and kind of like, it's just spite for everybody who's like grieving and being weak. Like you'll see, like maybe you see Thalia walk by crying, kind of like, kind of spite the rest of the crew for their grief. Doesn't know how to process that. He only knows how to process anger, and he knows where to put anger, which is into his blade. But you track him down, and maybe he's been avoiding you because he sees the grief in you, but doesn't. Make me an insight check of Saeed.
Inside 16.
16. You get the sense that while Saeed is comfortable sort of like scoffing and condemning the rest of the crew for weakness, for feeling grief and sadness and letting it overwhelm them, while it's very clear that you've been experiencing it, he doesn't feel comfortable calling you out on it or calling you weak for it. And you know that he's not doing it. You know that he knows it would make him uncomfortable to treat you the same way. You don't think he knows why he would feel uncomfortable doing that. Not entirely understanding why he singled you out to give you space and respect. And he has been avoiding you perhaps because of these reasons. Because he doesn't know how to handle what you're going through, and he also doesn't want to condemn you for it. Not that he's not necessarily aware that he's doing this.
She has her two I guess they're like wooden Githyanki, they're Githyanki practice swords is what's in her inventory.
Yeah.
So she walks up to him and she hands him one.
Takes it.
And just goes like she's gonna look at him, and does he?
Well, the first one I imagine is a bit of a like you kind of sucker punch him with it. I imagine you kind of like yeah, he's and it speaks to how caught off guard he is because he's like a Githyanki warrior, you know, black at that, and he's always on guard. He's always ready. And you kind of give it to me like, buddy, and then you just like quack him in the head, and he doesn't defend himself from it or is ready for it. Um, and he kind of like grits his teeth, but doesn't swing back, at least not immediately. He's like, what are you doing?
Did you ever think both sets of our elders were wrong? Maybe they were all wrong.
No. It is your elders who are wrong, who are scared to take their birthright.
What do you get from Blacketh exactly? What does she do for you?
I get strength. I get power.
So
Face my enemies without fear.
without her, you are weak and cowardly? I don't believe that.
You're trying to coax me to hit you, but I don't want to hit you.
I need to fight. You understand that. We
Yeah.
shouldn't hurt each other. Not really. It would upset the crew.
This is not your way. You are not Githyanki.
I am not. But I like a good fight.
You're not Githzerai either. Don't know what a Githzerai is, but it's not you.
No, I am a traveler.
Son.
Seriously,
I have
though,
seen Githyanki buccaneers and raiders who follow their own path away from Vlaakith's domination but follow her teachings. I have seen Githzerai who steal and plunder for their own personal gain on these astral seas. I have seen Gith of all kinds, depraved or followers of the great Vlaakith. You are something else, son. You really are something else.
Yeah. And you're with me. So.
I don't know why. All these kind of stifles whatever he was going to say next. Like, just uncomfortably, like, not really sure why he did it.
No, but for real, I that was a lot of angst, and I didn't get to hit anything. So could we? And she'll hit the stick she just gave him. Poke, play with me. Poke.
Fine. He'll and he'll spar with you, but he definitely holds back. Like down on Thessalys, you guys you had blade for blade, like with like razor blades and like radiant sabers. But even with his practice sword, like he's on the defense and he like deflects your blows and he'll like hit you when he knows you're ready to block it. Not like he's like extra waiting, but like he is not fighting you with the same like murderous ferocity of a Githyanki. And he's almost like fighting you with like annoyance and frustration at either you or himself or whatever, but he doesn't seem to want to fully unload on you. And it's perhaps very frustrating for you too, because you're like, maybe you want to get hit as a wolf.
This is
Make me a charisma saving throw.
Oh, that's a 9.
It's a 9. I'm just gonna say it's for you to play with in the role play, but the frustration, the fact that you've like opened the floodgates, the frustration, like above the table, what we know is that Basan probably wants to be punished for not being able to have done anything or not being able to save anyone and wants to be punished and is trying to use Saeed to punish herself. And it's very frustrating that he won't because Basan probably feels like she deserves it, but he's not punishing her. And he's the most honest person she knows, perhaps the most straight up blunt individual. And now back in, Basan feels this anger and this frustration arising, this desperation to be to for him to hit you, but he won't. And that's where you're at as you're sparring.
All right, fuck it, let's do it. So she's probably going to lose control over this, but there's this idea of pushing it aside or releasing it and surrendering to it and not being able to control the wave, and that's kind of what the Githyanki do. Is it possible to feel this and use it constructively? You know, can she push the pace without losing her mind?
Make a flat intelligence check. Ooh. Make a flat intelligence check at disadvantage because you're not used to using your psionics this way.
That's an 11 on the dice, so that's 15 total.
15 total. It's still pretty good, even at disadvantage. You're like, trying to hit him to coax you into hitting him, and you're not using your sort of serene battle tactics here. You're just like fucking like when Luke's hitting Vader at the very end of the fight, where he's just like it's kind of that thing, and he easily blocks you until your power just like your emotion binds with your mental power, and it shoots up the end of the blade, and you swing one last time into Saeed's weapon. Both weapons explode. You are thrown. Saeed is thrown in a psionic singularity from the blast of your weapon. It's just more power than you know what to do with, and knew was going to come and didn't have any time to contain it. And it's just a pure blast of psionic rage that hits both of you in like a singularity. And you both no, that's fine. It should probably be more than that, actually. Just trying to get my things right here. Let's see here. If let's throw a couple more on there. Why not? You're both gonna take. Let's see here. Let's call it 37 reduced to 18 psychic damage because you're both Gith. And then another just from hitting the side of the shield. Another 18 bludgeoning damage. And you find yourself bobbing in the gravity plane. You would have been shunted into fucking wild space if there wasn't for the shield generator. And there's this wave of pure force energy. So I will say, circling back around, Etherith, you kind of walk away, and you two have stormed off from each other. And as you enter the cockpit, you see Basan. You guys hear like the whole ship just kind of in this moment, just like it's ever so slight because the ship is so heavy. It's ever so slight, but the ship kind of to the side a little bit. And Arian's like, "What the hell was that?" And you see Basan just like out the front of the cockpit, hit the inside of the shield generator, and the shield generator kind of and Basan just kind of bounces off the inside of the shield generator and kind of disappears under the ship.
I'm gonna head down to like the cargo bay and see if I can't like get sight of her underneath the
Uh,
ship.
yeah, there's no windows in the cargo.
Unless we
You
open
know,
it.
I'll say for fun, it's not really how the ship's supposed to work, but I think it's kind of cool. We'll say that like there is like a little like um maintenance hatch that you can open out outside of like the wing, basically. Uh,
Yeah.
and we'll say in this moment you kind of unseal it and you kind of catch Basan sort of like looking as beat up emotionally as you've ever seen Basan, and also kind of bobbing in the gravity plane, like
I'll
it kind of bumps against the side of the ship.
I'll vortex warp her onto like next to me.
All right, you vortex warp her into the inside of the cargo hold, and you crawl back out of the maintenance hatch.
We have to
And
get Saeed
Basan,
too. So,
I sure hope there wasn't an attempt to do something irreversible.
no,
Okay,
just getting
good.
my head together. I need new practice sorts.
Oh.
you make your way over to try and find him. Maybe you try and use the back hatch as you guys crawl up out of the cargo bay. You see the doors sort of already opened, and a bit of an irritated Saeed, with like a little blood coming down the side of his face. It doesn't look like he's not bloodied, but a bit of an irritated Saeed kind of steps in from outside. And you two are you three are standing in the there in the there.
So was this an attempt to kill each other or what?
No,
Glares at you, Ethros.
sometimes we process things through movement. It was a cultural processing of grief.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Whose culture were you expressing out there? It wasn't yours.
Apparently, it was mine. Mine and mine alone.
You are a Githyanki fledgling. You swing your blade like some Githyanki fresh out of the egg who hasn't learned how to contain any psionic ability, but has too much anger and doesn't know where to put it.
So teach me.
Teach. Why would I teach you the ways of Vlakis?
Don't teach me the ways of Vlakith. Just teach me how to ride that.
These are the ways of Vlakith.
So you can't do it if she wasn't there?
I can do it if she's not there.
Then how is it her way? How is it not your way?
It's he oh, you're gonna hate this, Ethros. He gets very angry. And in a full like Darth Vader moment, he just like lets off his telekinesis, and like some of like the metal plating on the ceiling and on the floor kind of like curls in on itself like towards Saeed. Like he's like pulling all like psionic energy at him, and your words anger him, and he says, Blackett teaches us how to harness our rage into power. It is a teaching you should know very well. Don't you have some corpse that you swear your allegiance to?
We don't have allegiance to a corpse. Our study is
It's funny.
Isolation.
It's funny. It's perfect timing, really, because it was going to happen anyway. You say we don't swear allegiance to a corpse. In this moment, Basan, you are overwhelmed with a psionic presence. It isn't painful. It isn't like destructive or anything like that. You feel this intense psionic presence, a power of psionic energy that is humbling to experience. It is firm, but it is generous, and it is serene, and it is all-encompassingly powerful. And it summons you, daughter of Githzerai, to Limbo, for your home has been attacked. And it's essentially, it's not in words, it's in emotion. It is this serene entity of immense psionic power that is summoning all Githzerai to Limbo because there has been an attack.
She
And
turns.
as quick as it, yeah, you both, like Saeed and you, Etherith, will see this. Like, Dasan has this moment of like it's almost like experiencing nirvana for a second, like psionic nirvana for a second, Dasan. And Dasan's just clearly like in her face, just like overwhelmed by what she's experiencing. It's not emotional, but it's mental. It's a message in your mind of just understanding that you need to return home because your home has been attacked.
And she will turn and look at the captain and say, I've been summoned to Limbo. There's been an attack. They would not summon a traveler unless it was significant.
You had me at attack. I don't know how to get to Limbo, though.
I don't know how to get to Limbo. One does not just go to Limbo.
One does not simply go to Limbo.
So we can all head up to see Arendelle and our captain, but like real above the table, guys. It's very hard to get to Limbo. Bisan has no idea.
It is a little difficult, but you've been summoned anyway. Very hard to survive Limbo. There's a whole bunch of problems. But anyway, you guys all make your way to the bridge to talk about this. And so you are all there. Is there anyone you would have like Arian and Kalianira are there because they're the Spelljammers. Is there anyone else you would have wished to be there?
Vivara and Callisto for sure.
Arendelle for certain.
Yeah. I assume it's the you three plus whoever you want. So those guys will be there too, yeah.
I guess Tidewalker.
Yeah, sure. Tidewalker, whatever you want. And they can always be called in. I just wanted their initial.
Yeah, and if we pass by Talia, she'd probably grab.
Oh yeah, grab Talia as well. You microphone's gone.
Hello.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Great. Okay, cool. Saeed invites himself in.
Yeah.
You're gonna have an all.
He was with us. I figured he was.
Yeah, he comes. Absolutely. So you are all present. I'll start dropping minis just for the flavor. But Kelanister's like, what do you all want? Vivara's like off in the corner, like mumbling to herself.
My homeworld has been attacked. The Githzerai we have spent millennia fighting the Illithid once we were freed from them. Our homeworld is inhospitable. For them to have called me a traveler means the threat was significant. There's likely only one significant threat to Limbo, and it just bamped away from us. I do not know how to get to Limbo.
Calenustra says, plane traveling, very difficult to achieve indeed. Not impossible, but very difficult.
It's not my area of expertise, but I would hope that within that summons there's some sort of hint or guidance.
Calenustra says, it's your home world. You don't know how to get home?
No, I do not.
May I make a suggestion? Diori, maybe let Bason try the psionics to use the Ori and the psionics and see whether there's an open way that we can use this.
Is there a way to create a portal? The Illithid create portals. There has to be a way to make a way, right?
Said smirks and says, we could commandeer one.
We could commandeer one.
Thalia says, I mean, I don't like the idea of flying around in one of those horrible ships, but we have some pretty smart people aboard. Maybe we could take one and gut it. Find out what lets it travel the way it does, put it on our ship.
It's as a theory, there's merit, but I mean, Illithid, I guess even called technology, is something so alien. It'll be quite the task to figure out how it works. One wrong move, and we'll fling ourselves into some far-off plane or towards, well, other Illithid.
There's a general nod there. Said says, if we were to take an Illithid ship, it would have to be quiet, and it would have to be incredibly fast. Kill the Spelljammer first, so they couldn't transport us somewhere else. And if they did, we'd be fucked. So, maybe not the best idea.
I'm open to trying to see if Basan is able to forge some sort of connection through the orrery. It's not designed for that, but magic works in strange ways. So I offer up the orrery to Basan to try and reach out. If their telepathy can reach you from across the plains, perhaps you can ping them back.
Yeah. So she will.
Asana, I want you to make me a quick Arcana check regarding how you were reached.
All right, that's nice. It was a nat 20. She is not proficient in Arcana. So it's a 20.
It's a 20?
Mhm.
There is only one entity. There's only a handful of entities, actually. As far as psionic power goes, there's only 3 entities that would be able to achieve what you have experienced. One is probably Blacketh herself, which that most certainly wasn't. The other is some insane, some kind of like mind flayer psionic master, which that surely wasn't, which leaves the one and only most possible prediction. the great Githzerai Menyarog, the leader of the Gith people and the most powerful psionic in existence, who is physically incapable of doing anything, including lifting their own eyelids and moving their own fingers, but is psionic, but within their mind is as sharp and intellectually powerful as anything in existence. If that was anybody, that was the leader of the Gith people, the Githzerai people. And this person, like I said, this person makes like Yoda look like small cheese. Like this person has the power to contact every Githzerai across all the planes instantly without breaking a sweat. So, powerful dude. Just as a fun fact.
Oh. Oh, he's not a corpse. He's very much alive. Why would you call him a corpse? she says this out loud and looks at Saeed, and then she looks back at the Ori and is going to take her very baby psionic discipline and try to connect with him and say, can I get a map?
Make me a Well, psionics is your whole thing. Make what skills are you proficient in? Just pick. It doesn't matter. Pick one and roll it because it would be the same bonus I'm going to ask for you. So just make me a proficient intelligence check. It's essentially a psionic check.
19.
19. You try and reach out for this entity, but it's like being in a magnificent forest, like a state large forest or whatever, or frankly, it's like trying to call to somebody on the other side of the world, like trying to yell to try and access them. It's you call out as potently as you can, and maybe something heard you, but you just don't have the aeons of psionic discipline this guy's got. Like, it's just not possible. To even call outside of the wild space system, let alone to one of the outer planes, it's just, you try your best, but it is leagues beyond what you're capable of. Arian says, maybe wait till we get to the astral sea, get out of the crystal sphere, try again, maybe. I don't know.
There is I wonder if he knows. Yurlaka. I wonder if he knows.
The floating fella.
He was with us for a while.
I recall.
He may know. And he has forces that could help.
Well, he presumably is still in realm space, so our destination will be unchanged for now.
Exactly.
This coincides with I was hoping to enlist the help of the Gith anyway, so this aligns with my original plans. We'll look for this Yurlaka then.
Well, Nigel should be able to try and give us a destination.
We'll need to get back to realm space first. You can't find things on other planes.
Let's see here. Dahlia will say, There is, I mean, we could try and track down a portal. Basan, you would know that the Githzerai have have strict control over what portals open in and out of Limbo, which has made them so impenetrable in the past. But I mean, if he's put out this open call for Githzerai to return, it's possible that they've opened up portals to access Limbo with. It's a possibility.
That is a good thought. Normally those portals would be impossible to find, but if he has called everyone, perhaps they have opened those for access.
Arian says, then we'll head for realm space and we'll see if we find one along the way. Is that what we want to do?
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay. Well, just keep going then. Days pass. Days pass into, I'd say about, I'll say maybe it takes like, I'm being a little bit loose with time at this point. It takes like a week or two to get to the edge of realm space, or great space.
I'd like at least an opportunity to like address my crew.
Yes, of course.
I'll gather everyone in the mess hall because there's more space there.
Got it. Yeah. It's a little cramped. You have a very large crew at this point, but you're able to get them all in one space.
I'd like to thank you all for your patience. I imagine there's been some unease with how little information has been relayed. Given what's happened, it's figuring out next steps after something as unfathomable as that is, well, it's been difficult. Our current course is for realm space. We have received information that the Illithid have made an attack on the Githzerai in Limbo. I won't expect anyone here necessarily to feel any impetus to save the Githzerai, people that almost no one really even knows. But our enemy is there, and for the sake of those lost on Thessalys, for the millions, dare I say billions of lives lost, we have no other course than to pursue. For our families, for whatever gods any of us follow, for the sake of all crystal spheres, we pursue. And we will slay the prophet. Are you with me?
Make me a. This has been a very sort of like humbling speech, so I will call it a performance or persuasion check, your choice.
I'll do persuasion. That is 23.
23. There is some. You sense no shortage of fear. No shortage of reluctance. But luckily you have some very steadfast allies on your side. Perhaps to your initial surprise, you're going to see our new first mate, or excuse me, our former captain from the Elven Armada, Thessalys, stands up very pointedly. You see various people begin to stand up. Spice Hand stands up. Calinestra is already up. And slowly your most confident members who stand with you, in your own words, inspire the rest until pretty much everyone's standing. Saeed's kind of at the back of the room, kind of not in it, lone wolf in it. And there's a very sort of solemn, standing, ready to serve. But as low as morale is, they seem to be willing to stand with you for the time being.
You have my thanks.
Bisan would like to step up.
Okay.
And where she usually keeps her veil up around, she actually unveils. And she'll actually look at Saeed when she starts this and says, "Our people are alien to you, and you don't know our history. Who we were at the beginning of time, I don't know. Some say elves, some say humans, but we were enslaved by the Illithid. They changed us. We eventually broke free. And while our tribes may have separated, if you think me fierce, know that I am above average on my world as a fighter. My psionic power is negligible. My world is the most inhospitable place. They sucker punched Thessalys. Limbo will be ready. Do not think that this is a suicide mission. It is not.
There's some sighs of nervousness, to be sure. They all kind of nod and kind of begin to return to the ship. They're kind of like in a state of like, fuck it, like where else can we go? And they kind of walk by. You get some quiet nods, Etherith, from various people. Vivar is nowhere to be seen. She's still wandering around, battling about something. And yeah. Like I said, it'll take at least a week or two to get to the edge of Great Space, where I'm sure along the way you face stuff, nothing that your ship can't handle. I can give you some fun examples if you would like. But in the meantime, what would you like to do? Is there anything that you guys of relevance would like to do on the way to Astral Sea?
I would definitely like to check in on Vivara.
Okay. She's sort of mumbling. You kind of approach over. Her eyes almost seem cataract, like not actually cataract, but there's just like this gloss over her eyes, like there's a veil over her sight. She's just kind of like mumbling to herself. Um, yeah, what do you say? What do you do?
Um, I cast telepathic bond.
Oh, okay, very cool. You enter into her mind. She mumbles and mumbles and mumbles.
I imagine you fled to the future, but let's try and reconnect with the present, Vivara. You're still needed, and there's far too many paths to walk.
Um, she'll say, in your mind, almost like an echo, like it's hard to hear her a little bit. She says, I'm at the crossroads. I see the choices. I see the paths to be walked, but they're so tangled. Ethereth. They're so tangled.
It's
How does she
okay.
do it? How does your mother do it? How does she unravel where each path wanders to? I don't know.
She doesn't invest. She looks, observes, but her heart is never set on one path over the other.
And nodding her head a bit, she stands there. She says, What path? What path do we walk? Which way do we walk? Where do we walk?
For most of us, we don't get to know. For one such as you may get a glimpse. But you still need to walk them. You can't keep looking ahead without taking a step forward.
She thinks, she ponders that. She says, I should come back. I should come back. It's. I should come back. That's what you want? For me to come back?
If not for me, then for yourself. You aren't my mother. You don't have 3 bodies to shoulder the burden of looking that far ahead. You're only mortal.
Make a persuasion check.
15.
15. She kind of like looks around as if she's taking like a last look. And she says, Okay, if you will need me back, okay. You'll see the sort of gloss over her eyes fade. She'll blink a couple times and stop babbling, and her voice telepathically will be a lot more crisp as it should be.
Mm.
She blinks and she looks at you. Says, "Everything's so real here, so solid."
Well, The past exists in memory and the future is intangible. Present is, well, the present is sensation. Sight, sound, smells.
I drank 3 bottles of Calinestra's Draught of the Second Sight. What happened?
Thessalys is gone.
Thessalys is gone. I guess that's why I drank 3 bottles.
The Illithid fled and have started an attack on the Githzerai.
What can I do to help?
Well, you can start with making sure your mind is back in firmly in the present for now. I don't want you getting lost in the future again. But should you feel ready, even a small amount of guidance goes a long way. We're headed to realm space. We're going to seek out a possible ally within the Githzerai, someone who can guide us to Limbo. You need not dictate the path to the end goal. Even just a simple forewarning of dangers on the horizon will suffice.
She'll go into her pocket, take out her knuckle bones, pour a little magic into it, a little prayer into it. She'll just kind of drop them to the floor at both of your feet and look down. She'll say, "There's nothing to be found of help in realm space. Or it only gives me a glimpse. Maybe there is, but you won't find it fast enough, or that there will be danger, or that it's already destroyed. I don't have any clear answers, but the bones say that it is not the right path to walk."
Well, I like alternatives, but thank you. For what it's worth, I asked. I asked why there were no warnings, no premonitions of disaster to come. But there were. There just wasn't enough people to listen. Premonitions of doom are, well, nobody wants to believe the end is coming.
I saw the portents. I didn't believe them. You see portents all the time of different things to come, of people dying, of disaster striking, tornadoes falling if the wrong butterfly would flap its wings. You have to learn to sort through the chaos of possibility to what's most tangible. I was a fool to ignore it. I don't know why. Hecate didn't point me down that road more. She shows but never tells. It seems sometimes.
Zeus decrees she not meddle, but none meddle. We are the masters of our own fate.
That is a terrifying prospect. I don't like it one bit. Mortals are stupid. I'm stupid sometimes. She kind of scoops up her bones and she'll say, I'll see if I can't get anything helpful out of the portents for you in the days to come.
Thank you. But don't overexert yourself.
If you insist. And she'll kind of wander away. What about the rest of yous? Got about a week or two. It's perfectly fine if you're just kind of business as usual, keeping things afloat.
Yeah. But I will speak to Calnestra as well and just see how she's doing with everything.
Yeah, you find Calinestra, and she says, God, Rendil, gods are such assholes.
Yes, they can be.
Especially my mother. Always walks with destiny, always walks with fate, but they won't tell you what's going to come. She's a greedy goddess. Don't tell Ethrith, I know he likes you a lot.
Well, I may have already upset him about that, but that's in the past. But there you go. I just wanted to know how you were doing.
I'm pissed
You're
off.
holding up okay.
That's about it, though. I'm fine. Other people on this ship are... Vivor has entirely lost her mind, it seems. That Aphrodite trollop that you love so much that you brought aboard, she's beside herself with grief, not me.
Well, you are the first one that I came to see. My job is to try and keep the morale up. I need your help. Maybe there's something we could do.
Says, oh, you need my help? You need my help with something?
Your help is always grateful and appreciated.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
And that is fair enough.
What is it that you want? King of the paladins and lightning and beautiful swords.
I need to find a way to keep the morale up on ship. Hard work and checking stuff a couple of weeks doesn't exactly cut it for everybody. I have a few ideas, but I wonder whether there is something that you might be able to do. Maybe while we are on the downtimes of those that are needing some respite from this torment that they've suffered, is there anything that you could create or make that would give them something to take their mind off it for a little while?
I have a couple of ideas. I'm sure you don't have in mind that I slip them all a filter of the veiled oaths and have them all subjugated before Hecate so that they have to do what we say.
No. It needs to be willing. They need to be able to make their own choices.
If you want me to make drugs, I can make drugs. Hallucinatories. If that's what you want me to do, if you're putting me in charge of morale, you could always go to the Aphrodite woman and ask her to give out samples.
Well, It's a possibility, and anything will help.
And I bet you might even do it.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll give her something to.
Assassination use properties and sort of dull it down to a fun little trip, if you want. Lower the dosage with them, I suppose.
Just small doses. For those. But the calm has to be kept for those that are underneath us. And then we can see, and they can see us by keeping our cool and calm. But justice will be served at the right time.
She'll sort of walk up to you and kind of like, I don't know, like run her hand over the brass armor, liquid metal armor, sort of like down. She says, "Well, it's good of you to be so admirably calm and confident for those under you, but